Already tasted the challenges to Withdrawal, Stealth, Cascade Arsenal, Reinforced Cameras, and no moving bodies. So there's Cascade Arsenal, which doesn't really matter. But then for Reinforced Cameras, that's going to cut down where we can get a disguise by a lot. And then for no moving bodies, that's also going to cut down where we can get a disguise from by a lot. So that's mildly unfortunate. So instead we're just going to shoot that ladder down, and then who knows, we could always just make this guard turn away, since it's not really something I want to lure. So if you could just keep looking away, that would be absolutely fantastic. Because then we could always just lure the employee instead. I mean, it's a free opportunity, we really might as well take it. So if we could lure you, and if the guard could walk away, I'm pretty sure there's a manager here now. Alright, there was not, so instead we're just going to wait over here for the employee to walk all the way over here, which will unfortunately mean that it's probably not a great place to lure someone else to later on, mainly because of no moving bodies. But we could always try doing something else, such as maybe moving the employee all the way over here in this corner, and who knows, it might be a decent idea. Even if it probably isn't a good idea at all, which is probably the answer. But you know, it'd be nice if we could actually lure you. Alright, now all you have to do is just walk over here. Do that. And then walk slightly further this way. And then afterwards, up the stairs. And presumably, it'll work out just fine. But if it doesn't, we could always try again. I mean, that's always an option, so we could just do that again. Walk all the way over here, and then see what happens. I mean, all we have to do is just go back over here, meet the employee, and unfortunately try that again because that's a bit further away than we probably would like. So all you have to do is just advance slightly slower next time so that we're able to put them down. And not in terms of murdering someone, but more in terms of just literally setting them down. And presumably, it's going to be alright, even if this is an absurd way of doing things, because this is completely unnecessary. Mainly because we probably won't get a second disguise, but then again, leaving the option open is always a nice thing, so we could always do that. But now that we're done doing this, we could just knock out the employee, grab the disguise, and then afterwards move along. Which I suppose works out just fine. Now we can lure someone else, it's just probably not a great idea, but there's the option now. Even if the option won't really get used. But we don't really want to run through anywhere else, so we're just going to ambitiously do this. Hello there, civilian, you see nothing, that's absolutely not suspicious. But instead, we could always go over here, into this corner, and then afterwards use a scrambler. And you're not going to care that much, so I'm just going to go inside. Unfortunately, it's not really the camera operator's room, but we can at least get this part done so we can see, well, where our objective is in the form of an employee or, well, actually inspecting every single box, which would work out just fine, especially if we're still trying to... How unfortunate. I mean, instead we could always just find a camera operator, then afterwards just start exploring and probably just very, very simply hacking that. Unfortunately, it's still no moving body, so just in case the manager were to show up over there, things would end rather badly, so it's probably a good idea to just leave it alone and just not do anything. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. I mean, it's rather obvious, really. We'll just go there as late as possible. The red box is over there, so all we have to do is just slightly remember that, just in case we do get a red box. Then go over here. Be very much aware that there's someone behind us, that's a black box, go in here. And that's the green box, so at least now we know where 3 of them are. Now, unfortunately, it would be nice if this guard were to move away, so let's drop something that's not the breaching charge, since that would be very much suspicious. And then hopefully, lure the guard. So we're going to try that again, since that clearly did not work. And then hopefully, lure the guard. And now presumably, the guard's going to walk away so that we can, well, rather peacefully go back inside. That's not how this is supposed to work, but I mean, alright. All we have to do is just not get seen by that camera over there as we fire a shotgun, which is probably not very easy to do. So what we're going to do now is finally meet the camera operator, hostage him, reload, and then afterwards, well, hack the cameras. Not that that's a huge reason, but unfortunately, we're feeling rather safe, so we can just quickly do that and get absolutely terrified by that. And as for you, it's going to be alright. Unfortunately, I'm realizing right now that there's a very distinct chance that there's a box in here, so we could probably quickly check that, which there isn't. Quickly knock you out, quickly grab that keycard and then get out of here before, well, you cause any problems. Then we can go over here, hack the computer, and then hopefully the manager doesn't show up here decently soon after. That would be rather awkward. And it would probably not be a great thing. So we're just gonna hack this, and now that we know where 3 of the power boxes are, at least we'll be slightly prepared if, well, we get something that's not ideal. Or more accurately, something that's not, well, inside a room or just not somewhere that's great. So that's the manager, I'm realizing. We probably shouldn't do anything to the manager, so let's wait for the employee. And then let's just wait here for a bit. And for a bit. And then unfortunately, since the manager's right here, we're going to have to try and more ambitiously take out the employees somewhere else. Which isn't exactly great, mainly because there's a guard right there, and it's still no moving bodies. Now, I mean, that is one good spot to take them out, as long as there's not a guard there, and a guard there, and a guard walking by over there, which isn't exactly a great thing. So if you could just go somewhere very, very nice, that would be absolutely fantastic, because, well, the manager was coincidentally in the room that you were investigating. Not a great thing, but who knows, we might be fine. And now the manager's finally leaving. You have no idea that you just foiled a bank robbery. Now, if you could just walk somewhere else, that would be absolutely fantastic. Preferably somewhere nice that is easy to lure from, so that would be quite convenient, but this is not exactly a great... Hold on, if you're gonna turn left, actually. Alright, that's not happening, quite evidently. Well, I mean, there is something that we can do, which will start with lockpicking this door, which unfortunately, I'm not really able to do. So what we're gonna do now is we're just going to awkwardly wait as we try and presumably lure that employee. All the way over here, even though it's really, really silly, if you could just notice me, that would be excellent. And now if you could go over here, try not to get too... Hello there, civilian. That's not exactly what we had in mind, but I suppose it worked out just fine. This is also a considerably good room, so we could always just go over here, get this door open, and then afterwards, really, really quickly, move you into that room as soon as possible before someone else notices that something's wrong. So, now that you're completely oblivious of whatever just happened just now and how I, well, unfortunately got foiled by the manager, let's interrogate you, let's knock you out, and now we know it's a blue power box, which, as long as I don't remember completely incorrectly, should be right over here. Or downstairs, or right over here, which... Well, I mean, that was definitely the right strategy, not remembering a single box, but I believe that was actually the red one this time. So we're going to finally rewire this, and it's going to be just fine over there. And then afterwards, we're going to, well, grab the disguise, so presumably no one should discover that at all. It really shouldn't happen. If it were to happen, that would be extremely, extremely unfortunate, so let's just hope that it doesn't happen. And then we could always run through here, and then pay both of the guards a visit, which, I mean, works out just fine. Then we can go all the way over here, and then bypass this door, just so that we can move the bag slightly faster, and by slightly faster, I mean much faster. Now, the manager should be moving decently soon, which so far still isn't happening, which gives us a lot of time to... It's still no moving bodies, so we should probably just leave them there and it will be just fine. And then the manager's gonna walk inside. We're gonna hostage them, and then we can just move them all the way over there, which works out just fine. And then afterwards, now that we've brought the manager over here, we can knock them out. Then afterwards, because, well, we've got breaching charges, let's quickly just use a breaching charge to, well, breach both doors and start moving the cash. And now it's basically just bag moving, whilst being simultaneously terrified of, well, the employee that we knocked out in there, and possibly also the guard that we knocked out in there, even though that's probably not a problem. So, now that the manager has almost foiled us and we have successfully gotten into the vault, let's probably move these fast enough so that, well, the employee that investigates later on doesn't notice that anything is going wrong. Mainly because we probably would have gotten far away by then. Because if the employee were to walk in here when something's wrong, that would be mildly awkward if we were to not stop them. So it would be a good idea to, well, stop the employee. And now that we've got the last bag to move, once we're done with that, we can finally get out of here. And then presumably we'll remain just fine. And who knows, it might even be under 10 minutes, which would be quite ideal, so we're just gonna let our sprint regenerate for a bit, then just start running, and then ignoring the employee since that's probably not going to be a problem. So we're gonna drop our bags over there, and then get out of here. That was not necessary, but that's the daily challenge done in just under 10 minutes. Cheers everyone, have a great time!